Emma, I think you can begin recording.
Okay, I've started.
Oh, just as Nehemiah showed yesterday, actually, I've been using the way that he showed us how to access Notebook, and it just worked fine for me. As from the morning, I had a problem that I had some people say that they had, because I was using the Python that came with a laptop. I decided to upgrade to the latest version, and it worked. So if you have a problem accessing Notebook from using the CLI, you can just upgrade your Python to the latest version. Then after you upgrade, you can install the Notebook. Then after it's easy to launch it from there. So I start directly. So just as Nehemiah showed us, to access you need to access a directory. Directory is another name of folder where you've stored your documents. For example, this CD is it's a command for accessing the directory that you need. For example, here we've got it's in desktop, then specifically in the desktop it's in the data, ScienceLX, then it's in the Python. So after there, you're supposed to write Jupyter Notebook. This command launches your notebook. So as you can see, yes, we have on my file. I feel it would be good if we started a new one. So it is. So what we learn today? Today we'll be starting with what we've been doing this week. So yesterday Nehemiah did a bit of introduction of the structure of the core readability and such. So I feel it would be good to start with the variables. Is that okay, Nehemiah? I think Nehemiah, you can be telling me whether I'm doing the exact right thing that we should be doing. So I feel like we can start with the variables. So what are variables? Variables when it comes to data science. For example, if I needed to store a value, like let's pick an example of if I needed to store a 3, you cannot store a 3 and access it easily. So I would say that a variable is just a storage location where you can easily access a certain value that you stored. For example, let's pick an example of I have a name of my dog. Let's write dog. So this is the variable. So this variable, it's assigned to a value that's within the variable. So for example, this dog, so in my case here, dog name is the variable name. A variable to assign a variable, you need a variable name, then you need an operator which assigns, then you need the value. So in my example here, dog name is the variable name. Then now we have equal, which is this assignment operator that we use. Then the value in this example, I can say my dog name is, let's pick an example of Bozo. Bozo, which is a string. Bozo is my variable name. So in this case, if I needed to access the name of my dog, I would just print dog name, which is Bozo. Did we go through the print statement? Yeah, I think we did. So in Python, if you need to access a value that has been stored or to just have your Python, type the value that has been stored on the variable with the statement print. In this case, it will be print dog name. So if I run this command, it should show me the dog name is Bozo. Let's see. You can see I have printed the name Bozo. So that's the variable that has been stored. So why do we assign these variables? So for one is to label and store information in memory. Like if I needed to access that Bozo, it's stored somewhere. For one is to information can be referenced later, and it makes it easier for readers and even ourselves to understand our code. Let's pick an example of other values that we assign which are not string. You can say, for example, in this exam, what position was I? I can say Kelvin position is equals to 5. Let's run this code. See, if I later I need to know what position was Kevin, so I will just go around finding that position. So I'll just type Kevin position, and it should give me the position that Kevin was. So you can also, for example, if I had, let's pick an example, we had different animals that we needed to assign the names. For example, let's pick an example of, we had a cow, then we have a dog, then we have a cat. So we can use different, like each we can assign each by having different variables follow each other. So if we have the cow as the of assignment, then the first name that we'll have like was, let me use a different name. What's the name of a cow? Ken. Then we can have the dog over the name. Let me use dog. So dog Jen. I have no one by the name Jen. And then the cat 9. So if I run this one, each specific one, cow has been assigned to the variable, to the value Ken, dog has been assigned to the value Jen, and cat has been assigned to the value Nin. So it shows that in a single line we can assign multiple variables. So let me try getting the value of cat. Print cat. You can see, so in the corresponding order that we assign, you can easily be able to access each. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we are following.
Oh, seems so lonely. I've never done a presentation before, so it seems so lonely.
You're doing well.
Yeah, oh nice. So another one.
Kelvin,
Yes.
I have a question. So
Yes.
if you say print 5, it should bring Kelvin's position.
Not
So you can interchange. Can you interchange?
No, it's not possible. So if I was to say print 5 in this case, like it would give me the value 5. So whenever for example, how am I supposed to explain? If I'm referencing the print for a value that has been stored before, you use the variable name. So because that variable name was assigned to a certain value, it's like.
So you can't say print Jane and then you expect dog.
No,
It
that's not
should
possible.
be the other way around because you've assigned dog to Jane.
Yes. So if I had assigned Jane as the variable name, then dog as the value, that would be possible. But in this case, it's not possible since the dog has its value as Jane.
Okay, thanks.
But also, it's possible, like, if I needed to print a value which is not assigned, like, I want to print somebody's name. Let me print Nehemiah. If I print this, I would expect Nehemiah because it's a value that I'm printing direct without having assigned it before. So let's run this one and see. That's what I expected. So there is another case. So I assigned Python. I think Python allows reassigning of values. So I assigned dog name as Bozo, but here I can decide to assign dog name Laz. So if I print the dog name, I get Laz. This because like Python allows a reassignment of assigned variables. So if I did again, went back, assigned this dog name as could someone tell me what should my print give me? Anyone, please?
Bozo. The Bozo, how many
First.
minutes?
Yeah, Bozo. Why should it give me Bozo?
Because you have assigned the variable dog name with Bozo.
Yes.
So anytime you tell it print dog name,
Yes.
it will print whatever you have assigned the variable dog name. I think.
Yes. So in my case, I've assigned to 3 values, as you can see from above. We have the first one, the second one, and the third one. So is it always?
It overwrites.
Oh yes. So it will give me the latest assigned one. Yeah, that's correct. So anything else that I might have left in terms of reassigning? In terms of variable assignment? Nothing that I can remember of. Yeah. So then now we have different cases that we use. So what's a case? You see, whenever I'm writing, there are different ways which are recommended by conventions of Python. How you can name it, known as PEPH. So which is or Python Enhancement Proposal 8. So it gives you certain ways which you can name your variables. So let me give you the 3 ones that you can use to name. So we have the first one, which we call the Pascal case. So the Pascal case is like my name. Supposed to Kelvin. Then here the other one that we have camel case. So camel case, in camel case, we always start with the first letter, which is M. Then the first letter of the second word, it's always capitalized like this. So if I was to have my name is each word as its first letter capitalized. So yeah, let me use another variable. Then now we have the third one, which is the snake case. So the snake case is the one that I've been using before. So that's the snake case. Letters are separated by an underscore. So in this case, I will assign a friend name, just something George. So for readability, I think it would be your choice to decide which one you use, but mostly it's encouraged to use, for example, in your writing functions, it's encouraged to use the snake case for readability because people can easily see the words that you've separated, but it's a decision. Most of the people that I know or the code that I've seen uses the second one or the third one. I never see the first one used a lot. Yes, so now we go to data types. So what are data types?
Can I add something on that?
Yes.
Yeah, basically these are some of the conventional or the basic ways on how you can define the variable names. Because sometimes when you have a long variable name, like let's say my country name, when it is combined, for example, if it is in, or you can try to write there, just try to write something like my first and secondary name, just combine. My first and last name combine.
Correct.
I just write anything long, like my first name.
Yes.
I just combine, not with these conventions. Just write my first name, just like that. Now, because we are the one who have written that variable, we can read it quickly. But for example, if it's a long name and it's something new to a person, it will be very, very hard to read the variables. That's why we use these rules or these how can I put it, conventions to define your variable names. Like for example, if it's initial words are capitalized, you can easily read. Now there's something that I wanted to add here, like when you are defining the variable names in Python, you can't begin with a word with an integer. You can't begin with an integer, like you can say like two variable name. Can you try that? Like a second variable name begins with an integer. It will throw an error because the variables in Python, they can't begin with an integer. And then also the variable names, they can't have the white space, neither the special characters. So I don't know if you can try maybe to show people so that they can understand this thing. Maybe you try with the integers, like I tried beginning.
Sure. Oh yeah. So what was that, Nehemiah?
Yes. Yeah, Nehemiah.
Yeah.
Rawekesa.
Nehemiah.
If you've ever attended to church, then you know how to pronounce that name.
Yeah. So what Nehemiah was saying is, for example, always when you are trying to start to write your variable, it must start with a letter. So this what it means. You cannot start your variable name as 5 name.
And
if
also,
I was to say,
and also this was to answer Lorraine. I saw she asked that you can't use like a 5 to print the other thing. I don't know. There was a variable name that was there's a value, there's a number that was assigned to a certain variable name, and she asked if she can use that number. You can't use that number is a variable name. You can't use. Of course, you the number can be at the end, in between, but it can't begin. It It can either be in between a variable name or at the end, but it can begin. So like for this instance, when you type variable name, assign it to anything.
Nehemiah,
Yes.
I think my question was, okay,
Yes.
now if we've assigned, for example, A to number 5.
Mm.
So I can print A and it will give me number 5, but can I print number 5 to give me A?
Oh, I get it now. So basically, the second parameter is like the value. So the first thing, this is the structure on how variables usually work. You begin with a variable name, then the next thing is the first thing. Variables you can declare a variable. First of all, I think that's something that you should have also maybe highlighted. You can in Python it is self-declare. How can I put it? It can be declared by itself. We have some rules on how you can declare a variable, like with a let, var, or a const. But then the next argument is like the variable name. Then the equal operator now to assign a value to that variable name. So the value you can't use it to execute or to print the variable name. So it's either one where you can use the variable name to print the value at the end, but you can't use the value at the end to maybe return the variable that was used. Maybe you can write maybe this, or let's finish that one, then we shall get back to that, the syntax of variables. Just try to
Yeah,
run
so,
it.
So if I try to run this, I should expect it to give me an error. So the error is occurring because I started the variable name with a number, an integer, which shouldn't be the case.
And then also the other thing here, you guys realize that he didn't use the print function. So print function is used, for example, you have a bunch of codes. You just want to execute some basic stuff in the terminal, and that's when you can use the print function. But if you have some few words you want to execute, you can just run it without the print function. But if you have a lot of code you want to execute some parts basically, then you can use the print function to execute the codes at the console. So here's the rule, but when you try like adding that 5 at the end, you will see that it will work. When you try to add that 5 at the end, it will work. So the rule number one, it can't try to use now the print function. Just say print. Yeah, so that one you can see it works. And then also it doesn't accept any special character other than the underscore. Any other special character, like I try to use something like a percent or yeah, something like that. And with the special characters, it doesn't have to be either at the beginning or at the end. Either ways it won't work. Try to add it at the end. Yeah, it won't work. Again, on variables, you can't have a white space. Like let's say my first name, then a space, then name. My first name, something, then add something, then yeah. And then there the print function, try to write print second name, the entire thing. Yeah, you can see it doesn't work. So that's why we can use the Pascal case, you can use the snake case or a camel case, so that you may read your variables very, very well. And then the other thing, when you are defining the variables, ensure that you use something descriptive. Don't use like something like a variable 1, variable 2, or a x, y, z. Try to be descriptive, because in data science you'll be collaborating with other data practitioners. So use something that a new person will understand without struggling. So and then also we say that Python is self. The variables in Python they are self declaratory. You don't have to declare a variable like to use, but you can use it if you wish, or you can use, for example, the let for example x to be let variable something to be a certain value, and then you can as well use something like a var and then a variable name, then you assign to a value or a const. But because it is self-declaratory, I don't think we have to go into this because it is declaratory. So I think that's what I had to add on the variables. Also, the variables can hold the data types, different data types. They can hold the list, tuples. We can hold dictionary sets, and even the arrays. You can. I think in future we shall talk about the arrays. So I think that's what I wanted to maybe add on the variables before you go to the next thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Nehemiah. So, in case anyone has anything to add, feel free to. So, this one, as Nehemiah says, itself declaratory. In languages that is JavaScript. So, JavaScript, you use 3 assignment words. You must have a let, you must have either a let, var, or a constant. So in Python, we don't need to, it's self-declaratory. So you just start with x equals to 3. So that's what we meant. So anyone with anything to add before we go to the data types?
Yes, I've just come in now. I'm not sure whether it was mentioned. Just to mention that in Python, it's not actually correct to use specified functions to name different variables. Like, for instance, using a word like length, let's say len, to store a variable. No, len, like let's say len, or even print to store a particular object in that variable.
Yes. So what it means, I cannot use something like print. It's discouraged because print is it's like something that's inbuilt within Python, which are not allowed according to the convention of Python to use. Yes, thank you for that. Anyone else?
Yeah, maybe just to elaborate on that. In Python, we have the built-in keywords, just like Ian and Kevin have told us. We have some built-in keywords in Python. So things like we have some methods, we have some keywords. You don't have to use because they are the built-in keywords in Python. That's why when you are defining your variables, to be on the safer side, you try to be somehow descriptive. Like when you are defining a variable, you make it a bit descriptive, because you are not sure if that name you're using is a built-in. For example, if you're a beginner, you try to be as much as you can to be somehow descriptive, because it might be a built-in keyword. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Anyone else?
Yes, I can see Lorraine has commented on the chat. I think she was trying to inquire from Ray about getting a value from a variable. Yeah, that is actually true. You can use an analogy of, let me use an analogy of Nairobi. In this case, Nairobi has a governor, and we can use Nairobi as the variable that is storing an object called governor. So for you to get governor, you can refer the variable called Nairobi, but then you cannot directly refer the governor in order to get the specific object that you want. So if you want to get the object governor, you just call out Nairobi and it will give you the governor.
Yes, sure. I love the discussion.
Okay, thank you so much, Ian. That's so clear.
Thank you. So anyone else with anything else to add? I think now, oh yes, Maggie. Is it that Maggie?
I'm not sure whether it was mentioned, but variable names in Python are case sensitive. So writing Kelvin with a small k and assigning a value 5 and printing Kelvin with a capital K will give you different results.
So is this what you mean?
No, I meant when naming variable names, that's
Yes.
the name in your code. Writing the name with a capital N and then printing name with a small n. And then you print name with a small n. Yes, that way
Oh yes.
it will give you an error because it's case sensitive.
Sure. So these are the things that you should not do. When you start working in a certain organization, you don't start writing buggy code. So anybody else? Yeah, thank you for the input. I think now we can go to the data types. If there is no one else with something to add on.
Maybe at the start, if I can just say, though we talked about this yesterday, like Python also considers the indentation. Like for instance, if you do a print function with the indentation, it will throw an error. Or maybe if you are creating a function, then the first one it should begin in in the first letter should be begin at the edge, but the rest should have some indentation. If you're working with your creating function, or if you are using the loops, the for loops and stuff. So it is very, very sensitive in terms of the indentation. Indentation is the space between the edges of your notebook, and then the letters, and
So an example is this what I've just written. You see, like, let me run. You see here, that's where our cursor starts at. So if I enter the space key and then I start writing my print function, should I expect it to run or not? Let's check, find out. So it won't run. So it has told us the integer object is not callable. So the reason is because there is a...
To get the correct feedback there, try to do this. Try to write X there in the last cell, for instance. Try to write something and then a variable just in the initial line, in the edge. Just create something like X equals to 7. Then now in the next line, now the print function to be in a different space. Remember, even if you write the print function, but the previous characters are in between, you have created the indentation, but they are both in line, maybe at the center, it won't have an issue. But if the variables that you've declared at the beginning and the edge, then on the print function, it is at the end, some space there, there has some indentation, then it will throw an error. It will give you an error called indentation error. So try to run that one. You see, you can see now it gives us the indentation error.
So let me get the print to be at the same line with the variable name to see whether it will run. No, it's not running. Print. Can you see, Nehemiah, where the error is? I don't know why it's not running.
Try to use it. Try to use a new cell, perhaps. Just copy everything there, and then I use a new cell. Yeah, you could have just copied even everything.
You can restart the kernel.
How do I restart? Restart it.
Go to okay, yeah.
Oh, that's what. So at least we are learning something new, even if it's very small, but it's something that's helpful. Yeah. So thank you for that. Now we can go to strings. We can go to data types. So we'll start with the data types. So our first data type will be string. So what's a string? A string is any character that's enclosed within quotes. I don't know what to call them to program it. It can either be single or it can either be double. So, for example, if I wanted to write president or president name, in Kenya, our president name is someone by the name Ruto. So that's a string because it's enclosed within quotes. So, for example, here when I can also write former. From president, let me just give age. That's also a string. So a string is anything that's enclosed within the quotes. It can either be like a number, it can either be letters, and the alphanumeric entries within the brackets, within the quotes. So let me see whether we can have some special characters within the string. So if I was to print all the above, sorry, my keyboard, it's kind of Chinese, so I just guess where the key is. So sometimes you see me make errors. So president. So as you can see from this, we've noted that alphabets can be, when they are enclosed in quotes, they can be strings. When you've enclosed numbers in string, they can be in quotes, they can be strings. When you've closed special characters in quotes, they can also be string. Let me change this to be a single quote. So from this, you can see you can also use single quotes to enclose the string. So for the second second data types that we do have is integers. So what are integers? Integers are all numbers. They can either be negative or positive. So in our example, we can use someone like, let's pick class time. Was to 8. Then you class time equals to 8. Then a date. Because a date can be negative. So your date can be 9. So as of here, we can have our, you can see that our date is negative, which is still our whole number. Then our class time we say it, which is still our number, either positive or negative. So if we try print the two, so the reason why I'm printing is to see whether the notebook picked the variable names, that the variables that we entered. So that's all about integers. Then the third one that we do have is floating. What we call them floats. So floats, they have decimal points. So an example of float is answer. Let's pick an example for an answer to a question. It's 8.91. So if we try printing that answer to see whether Python picked the answer well. So that's our floating points. So now I want us to check, to just check the data types. We have our inbuilt function which is called type in Python, which you can use to check the type of your variable or anything that you have in your notebook. So type, let's pick an example for answer. You can see it's float. If we need to pick to check the type of date, we can see our type is integer. Then if we need to check the type of, which one I haven't checked it, president. President, let me. Yeah, so if you look at these two, they have different types. Even though the value that they carry is 58, they have different types, data types. So the first one, because it's enclosed in quotes, that one is string. And the second one, because it's not enclosed, that's number. That's something that we should note. Anything else to add on this name before we go to booleans? And Nehemiah, would you have something to add on these two data types, string and integers and float, three of them?
Maybe you can mention something about converting them, converting an integer into a string, a float into an integer.
Yeah, sure, I will. So let me just finish on booleans before I mention on how to convert. So booleans includes two, like there are two data types of boolean. So we have boolean data type can either have true or false. For example, when we are coming up with SQL columns, normally in tables we normally have a column that is active. So it's active if, for example, I'm a member of a circle. You may find that if I haven't contributed money in this month, so it's in this month, and the regulation of that circle is if one forgoes a month without contribution, his or her membership becomes inactive. So his active column, normally if you forgo without contributing, your membership is changed to is active false. So that means you are not active. So those are such use cases of the booleans where the answer of the question that's needed is either false or true. I hope I haven't confused someone with that illustration. So, for example, let's use a simple operator to check whether so as you can see in this one, in this command, so what I was checking is whether is 5 larger than 3. So normally what I would expect 5 to be larger than 3. So if our Python checks and sees that's true, then it returns true. If I was to give one like 6, does 6 equal 1? So what would be the expectation of this one? I would expect it to be false because 6 cannot equal to 1. So let's run and see. So that's false. So these are the such uses of false. So we have different operators which are used in booleans to compare. So an example is just as mentioned above. Here we have 5. So this sign is larger than 3, or we can say it's greater than. Then here we use double equal signs to show equals to. Then we have 7 less than 1, which so this means less than. Let's check. So that gives us false. Then we also have another comparison operator which can be used to check whether it's less than or equal to. So let's pick 6 is less than or equal to. Less than or equal to 12. So that should be true. So let's pick another operator, a comparison operator, which is greater than or equal to 10, greater than or equal to 4. So my expectation should be that's true. Then the last one in comparison operator, we have not equal to 10. So So if this sign, I don't know, or should it call it an exclamation, or if it precedes an equal sign, so that means it's not equal. So it's where we have equal, it's equal into equal sign, double assignment operator. Then here we have that exclamation, then equal. So if 6 is not equal, let me take 10. So my expectation should be this will be false because 10 is equal to 10. Yeah. So want to go to check how you can convert the data types, or unless anyone else has something to add on this.
I have a question.
Yes.
So now that you've known booleans, can we integrate booleans and what we've done with variables? So meaning that, can we, what we had done, can we assign a value to a variable? Then now after that, we go to boolean and find out if it's false or true. Like if x is 5 and y is 3, then now we come to boolean and say that variable is equal to, I don't know if you get what I mean.
I think I get you. So my simple answer, which Neymar or someone else can confirm, I'll say that it would depend on the data type, whether the two data types match. But you can check. So for example, I had like students equals to 10. So what you mean is like student,
And then maybe we have teachers 5.
so what you mean is like teachers, this,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah, so it can work. Okay.
because the data types are the same. So if,
Okay.
for example, we use the, let's, see. Wait,
Yeah.
it's not defined.
Okay, it should have.
I haven't shown this. So so can Python compare to different data types?
Yes, it can. It can, provided the statement is not correct. It can return a boolean there.
But for equal, that is for equal, but for the other operators, not really, because greater than cannot. Right?
Can you try to run that one?
Can I try to?
Run that one and see. I think you have to run the previous commands, because when you refresh when you refresh the kernel, everything will be new.
Is it
Yeah,
greater,
so-
or you're trying to find out if students are equal
So-
to class teachers, or
equal worked well. So that means we can find whether they are equal, even if they have different data types. So try to see whether logically
I think
greater than.
I don't think that
Yeah.
operator will work there because I
Yes.
think it compares an integer because this like greater than it compares values.
yeah.
Values.
Yeah, sure. So
Yeah, I think it's also important to know the various types of operators. We have the arithmetic operators and the comparison operators. So that's why it's giving us such an error, because the greater than and the less sign are more of arithmetic operators. We cannot use those type of operators when you are dealing with, let's say, strings or other variables.
thank you for that.
And maybe also to add on that, it's important to also identify the equal signs. What does one equal sign mean? And what does two equal signs mean? You have to know that one equal sign is simply an assignment operator. You're actually assigning a variable. You are actually assigning a specific object to a particular variable. Unlike two equal signs, which means the left side and the right side should be equal. Let's say 2 is equals to 2. It simply means both of them should be equal, and it will return true.
So what was wrong with what we had done previously, like trying to say that students is equal to class teacher, then it should give us false with a double equal. Just as how we've done it with the students and teachers. Or the thing is that the class teacher, they don't have the same data type. Is that the case?
I'll tend to assume so, because in most cases, I stand to be corrected though, but in most cases, I've just seen using two equal signs whenever there are integers.
Can you hear me? Someone kindly confirm.
Yes.
Oh, so I was trying to, before my network had a problem, I was trying to explain what you meant. He explained that arithmetic cannot be used where we have different data types. Arithmetic operator and greater than or equal to, less than or equal, greater than, equal to, less than arithmetic operators where the data types must be of the same. And so I think now we can go to how to convert the data types. We've learned how to check the data types. Just there's somewhere we check the data types.
Kelvin, before you continue, you said arithmetic operators cannot be used with different data types.
Yes.
Is it only arithmetic?
That's according to my understanding. Arithmetic, I don't know whether you can
Because
use.
we have arithmetic and then there's comparison.
Maybe either Nehemiah or who was the other person can confirm that.
I think what I know is something like the the addition operator you can use maybe to concatenate things, but I don't think if many of them can be used in other data types. But what I know is like the plus, it can be used, for example, to concatenate things.
Okay. So all of they cannot be used with different data types. Actually, all operators, we should not use them to compare different data types.
According to my understanding, equal can be used, which is a logical comparison operator. So in concatenation, what happens is you concatenate things of the same data type, that string. You cannot be able to concatenate string and an integer. Is that right, Nehemiah?
Actually, with concatenation, you can concatenate anything. You can concatenate any data type. For instance, can you try this one? Can you try, for example, to create a variable somewhere there with a string, and then the other one with an integer. Then use print. Just try to use print. First name, then a plus. Now, because you might need to add the white space, use an empty string there, and then a plus, and then use the second variable. You have to complete to close with this. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's not.
Yeah.
Simple.
Concatenation, I don't think you can do with different data types.
Yeah. I see.
It must be string to string, because you can also not be able to concatenate. If you try to concatenate, to use plus, where we have integer and integer, that's not concatenation. Now that's arithmetic operator, which is addition.
Yeah, just to answer Lauren's question, she had previously asked, Kelvin, why don't you try to print hello? Just print hello in quotes. No, just on that cell. Then no. Still on that cell. Then after the closing quotation marks.
Yes.
Just after hello, add 2 equal signs. Then print the same hello.
So
just print the same hello, like what you had printed.
This way? Is this what you mean?
No, as in type it.
Or type?
I think a string should have the quotes. The quotes there. That hello.
Oh, so she means I type like a string.
Yes, another hello.
Oh,
He means.
Oh, he. Oh, sorry. My apologies.
No problem. Yeah. Can you try to do this on the other one, on the print first name? That part, the previous cell number 7. Can you try to that part of the? I don't think also it will work. But you could have defined, maybe you could have defined the string, but now instead of the concatenation, You can as well create another string with a white space, but still I don't think it will work. Yeah.
I don't think it will.
It won't, yeah. So we agree that the concatenation works with the data types of the same, works with the values of the same data type. If it's string, it's
Yeah.
string. If it is arithmetic, integers, it is integers and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
Okay.
So now we can go to casting of data types. So I think we went through how to check data types. You use the where did we check? So yeah, type, start with type, then you have the variable that which you would want to confirm its data type within the function, the inbuilt function of type. So there is something that I saw within the week in the notes that you need to specify a data types if you want it to be treated in a certain way. For example, so there is something that is a float variable. Yeah, float.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
I just wanted to answer Lorraine's question in simple terms, right? So for
Yeah.
arithmetic operators, which include plus, minus, multiplication, and all that, right? You can't use them for different data types, right? They have to be in the same data type for that to work, for it to work. And that's why when you concatenate two different strings, it works. It concatenates two different numbers, it forms an addition of the numbers. If you multiply two different strings, you form multiple of that number of times. And if you multiply, yes, you can multiply like a string, saying that you want it maybe to appear like 2 times, it will appear multiple times. So I just thought I should answer that part.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for that. In the multiply, I saw it was by the term replication. I can't remember the exact word because it's the first time I heard of it. Yeah, so I was trying to show we can specify the data types if we want it to be treated in a specific way. So this is what I saw in the notes within the week. So our expectation was what is in quotes should be a string, but here it's specified as a. We specified how we would want it to be treated. Let's see whether it's treated the same. Yeah, so that works. So you can specify how you'd want data to be treated. For example, you can also say string variable we would want this. Normally this would have been an integer, but now if we print, if we check the type, you can see it's a string. What else? So in integer variable equals to integer. Here inside we have a float, which we want it to be treated like a string. like an integer. So let's check the type. Yeah. So we can specify how we would want the integer to be treated. Now let's go to converting of data types. Conversion means that we need to change a variable type from one to another. We just do data manipulation. So let's assign different data types. So we have the first one, which is we had integer one, which was kind of 3. Then we had the integer 2, which we can give it a value of like 6. Yeah, so then yeah, the answer is be, let's do integer 2 divided by integer 1. Yes, so as you can see, the first one we have integer 1, the integer 2. So the answer, the first ones are, we have like, let me recollect my thoughts on this, what I wanted to. If I run this one, also, would you please kindly mute? So what I wanted to show is like, sometimes you can use, for example, we have used division to convert the data types. We had the data type 1, which was 3, that's an integer. Then we have integer 2, which is also an integer. So when we used conversion, we used the division, it became a float. So if I was to check the type of the answer, that's type answer, I would expect it to be a float. Yeah. So what I was trying to say is you can convert data types by doing data manipulation like division. Then we also have casti data types. So casti data type is something that I saw that it gives you a data loss, so you need to be aware whenever working with it. So an example is, let's pick an example. We have float number. We need to convert will this work? Converting a string to a float. Let's check the type. Yeah, so what happened here, it's kind of a forceful conversion of that data type from a string to a float. So something that I noted, which was thought it may lead to data loss, so whenever you see it, you need to be careful. So anything else that you might add on this, Nehemiah, or anyone else on the data conversion? Anyone else to add anything on data conversion before we go to operators? Oh, so that means no one else has anything to add on. So I think we can now go to operators. So what are operators? Operators. Oh, I thought I was the picture on. So operators are, I would say, what exactly are operators? They are different way of doing different processes like addition, subtraction. Yeah, so let's begin with the arithmetic operators. So these are just common mathematical operators that are used in Python to perform operation on numerical values. So we'll start with addition. So addition, the one that we used to learn in school and that we use daily in life, it's just represented as we use whatever writing, use a pen. So like total, we can say total equal to 8 plus 3. So that's our addition operator. So if we print total, we would expect it to give us 11. Then we have subtraction operator. Subtract the right operator from the left operator, just as it happens in real life. So I would say, like an example of many people, if we had 10 people and 3 people quit in a circle. So if I was to print that the number of remaining people, I would expect it to be 7. We had a right operand means removed 3 from it, which is a subtraction. Then now we have the multiplication. So normally in multiplication, we use like the asterisk sign. So like number of cars. Sorry for that. If we had an event and we had 5 people attending the event, and out of those 10 people, it's kind of car event, like where we come to show our cars. So if every person has 3 cars, they have to come with 3 cars. So how many cars will you expect in total? Use the multiplication operator. So if I was to print number of cars, I would expect it to be 15. So we can just print this one and check whether we did the right thing. Number of cars. Yes, so it's 15, just as we expected. Then now we have the division. So division is kind of like, I don't know, this is the backslash, or how do we call this one? Is it the back or forward? I think it's back. So division, if just let's pick our answer above. If we had, it was an event. And in that event, we had 15 cars. So 15 cars, and everyone came with 3 cars. Now I want to find how many people were in the event to showcase their cars. So if we print number of people, I would expect it to be 5. Because it was the left operand, which is 15, divided by the right one, which is 3. So I get 5. So we have some others like modules. So modules like, so we have 15 breads. Let's pick an example of number of question. We have 15 breads, and every patient gets a one bread. So we want to know how many breads gets 2 breads. We want to know how many bread would remain if each patient gets 2. So my expectation here would be that we'll get 1. So module, it's kind of gives us the reminder. So if you remember, whenever we were working back in class 1 or 2, there's something that he used to say 15. We could have 15, then 2 as the operand. That's the divisor. So you could, at 15, it's 7. 14, 15 minus 14, we have a remainder of 1. So let's check. Sorry. I was wondering what happened. Yeah, so that's our reminder. We also have another operator that's like exponential. I don't know whether you've heard of exponential. Exponential, it's like, it means the power of. So if we were to say number new number 5.
Hello, Kevin.
Yes.
Good evening. Sorry, I don't really understand why our result is 1 on this. The last result you got. I don't understand why.
Oh, so as I was saying, that it's an operator known as modulus. So it returns the reminder of division. So instead of having it as a decimal, as a float number, we want the number that we got when we divided to be a whole. So in this case, 15 divided by 2, which number is divisible by 2, which is near 15? The number is 14, right? So 14 will have the number, I don't know, what do we call after this?
Okay, let me see if I can explain it to her. Ijoma, so that basically means 15 modulus 2, right? So what that means is that 2 divided by 15, the remainder is what will pop out. So like he said, 2 divided by 14, the remainder is 0. So, but if you say 2 divided by 15, you will have 7, remainder 1. So that's why that 1 pops out. So if it's 16, the remainder will be 0. If it's 17, the remainder will be 1, just like it is here. I don't know if that makes sense, Ijoma. Thank you.
I don't know whether you've understood this clarification.
Yes, please. I have. Let's carry on. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So the new number here, I was trying to find the exponential. Exponential is just like power. So if I was to print the new number, I would expect it to be 25. Which it's 5 power 5 power 5, or 25 is the multiplication. So yeah, 3 to 125, that's correct. Then I don't know whether there is another operator that I've forgotten. I have a floor division. Or a floor division. So floor division in this case, like as we are checking of the modulus, so the floor division gives us the number that we get after dividing. It returns like we call it the quotient when it comes to mathematics. So like, let's pick an example of number. Equal to number 2. Let's pick 15. So that's the quotient, the floor division, how it works. You need the double division by 2. So yeah, we'd expect it to be 7. Yeah, so that's what we have here is the quotient. Then the last one, which it's comparison operators. Comparison operators, which we just check, consist of equal, consist of not equal, consist of greater, less than, greater equal, or less equal. Yes. So that's all with the arithmetic operators. Any other question on that?
Kelvin,
Yes.
kindly repeat. When you put the double multiplication, what does it do? It does whatever the exponent, like 2 power 2. What if it was power 3? What would you have done? It would have been 5. The double, the multiplication 5. Then what?
3.
It would. You just go adding like the multiplication sign according to the exponent.
Well,
Add the number after the exponent if you want to.
Ebu just do it. Like for example, 5 to power 3.
Okay, basically, exponent simply.
So you
As in-
5 power 3. This what you mean?
5 to 5 2 multiplications then 3.
It will give us 1 to 5. Yeah.
I got what you mean. So in this case, it's 5 times 5 times 5. So if we change here to 4, so that should be 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, 4 times. Yeah. So it's rising to power. So power means you multiply that number by the number of times of the value that we've powered on.
I've understood.
So anyone with a question or anything else to add when it comes to arithmetic operators? If in case I go past time, you can let me know. I can see it's already past 10, the one that we agree. Is Steve around? So do you guys feel like we should stop there or we can continue? Yesterday I saw people say 10 is appropriate this time.
You can just round up this part, you understand? Since, or are you done with this? These are operators, right?
This?
I said these are operators, right?
I can't hear clearly, kindly.
I said these are operators, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I said once you are done with the operators, then you can call it a day.
Oh yes. So I think I'm done with the operators unless anyone else asked something to add on. Nehemiah, welcome on board our teacher. It feels nice to have someone knowledgeable in something within ourselves. We can always consult.
I think we should take a few questions so that we can have a wrap around it before we.
Yeah, so any question on anything that we've gone through, please bring it on forward. We try to see whether we can have an answer for it. Any question? Does that mean like we've understood what we've gone through today and we are comfortable if a question
I think everybody is saying. I think people are trying to say you're a great teacher.
This is my first time ever. I was actually tense before I got into the meeting. I was wondering how it would go.
Mine is not a question, Kelvin,
Yes.
but you've conducted the session very well. Being your first time, it's so nice to see most of us are rising up to the occasion, and we hope to see more people taking up the chance. Really done a good job to Melewal. We've understood that's why there are no more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that fine comment. I appreciate it.
Anyone else? So I bet that means no question. So we can call it a day, and it has been an amazing session. Learning from you guys, learning from me, learning from Nehemiah, learning from everyone else. So we appreciate you and thank you for being good discussion mates. So this feels nice. We've been through the journeys from day one together, and I hope we get to the last day together. So thank you. Have a good night. Bye bye. Unless someone else
Just before we say bye bye, Kelvin forgot to mention females' names. So we also learned from Nemo and Ijoma and Margaret. Oh God, Margaret. As
Margaret, what, Ray? How do you want to kill her names?
honestly,
He's
I
butchering
was seeing,
my name.
honestly, I was seeing it being multiplied by 3. Well done, guys. Great support today. Nice one, Kelvin, for the instruction. And of course, shout out to Nehemiah, of course, and everyone that participated, both listening, commenting, and also sharing what they did. We'll be sharing, Vin is asking when will the next session be. Communication will be made in the group regarding that.